Hey everybody, today we're going to be making my favorite apple pie recipe. So first off, what you're going to need is pie crust. We like to use the Pillsbury pie crusts. Here's the packaging if you wanted to go buy that yourself. They come with two pie crusts, one from the bottom, one from the top. This is how they look. They come in like a tube. You take this out of the fridge for a little bit, let it defrost, and then you open them up and they roll out nicely. You're gonna need some apples. So I like to use these. These are called Honey Crisp. To me, they taste the best. Also, which is also really good if you like it a little bit more sour, then I would use the Granny Smith. Sometimes we mix both or use whatever is on hand, but any apples will work. You can put any apple that you have and it'll still taste amazing. Then what you're gonna need is some lemon juice. You don't need this, but we put this in the bowl with water and we add it here so it doesn't brown the apples. Then you're gonna need some regular white sugar. You're gonna need some brown sugar. You're gonna need some ground cinnamon. You're gonna need some ground nutmeg. And you're gonna need some unsalted butter. So let's start off and let's get this. Okay, so for the first step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our apples. Now, you can use any apple you have on hand, but we chose Honey Crisp. Honey Crisp are my favorite. And also another personal favorite is the Granny Smith. It gives it a little bit more of a sour taste. But you truly use any apple that you have on hand. So for this recipe, it requires 4 to 6 apples, depending on how many apples you enjoy. If you want it to be more full, then you could use 6. If you want the apple pie to be a little bit less full with apples, then you use 4. So we're gonna start peeling them and then we'll start. Okay, so once your apples are peeled, then what you want to do is place them in a bowl of cold water. And what you're going to do is add just a little bit of the lemon juice, just so that they don't brown. Mix it all in, and like I said, you don't have to do this step. But okay, so what I like to do is, the first step is to cut the apple into little squares. So I like them into little cubes rather than slices. You have the option to do it however you like, but this is just the way that I like to do it. So I'll show you how I cut these now. So what I like to do is to slice the sides, so that way you're taking out the core, which doesn't taste good, and you're taking out the seeds at the same time. I find this to be the easiest way. Once you've done that, you have these little quarters. I just cut them in half. And then I slice them sideways so they're into cubes. Show you again, cut them in half, turn it sideways, and cut them into cubes. Okay everyone, so the next step is we're gonna add half a cup of white sugar. We're gonna have half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, so we're gonna add that. I like to put all the ingredients into a Pyrex measuring cup. So half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Then we're gonna add 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. So 1/4 teaspoons of nutmeg into the mixture, and we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. Now, like I say, when baking, you can always make changes and add and take away things as you like, and you can always try things, which makes baking a lot more fun. So we add that all in here, and then our next step is we're going to take this mixture We're gonna stir it, and then we're gonna mix it with the apples in the bowl. So we're just gonna mix the mixture of all those ingredients that I just showed you into this bowl of our apples. And we're gonna stir it around. And you're just trying to cover it up nicely. And this is really what gives the flavor to the apples to make them taste nice and sweet. Okay guys, once you have all of your ingredients mixed, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take half a stick of butter. And half a stick equals just about, I think, 1/4 cup. Yeah, 1/4 a cup of butter. We like to get these sticks because they're a lot easier than the big brick of butter. But if you get the brick, just cut 1/4 out, or 1/4 cup. And we're gonna place it into the pan. And we're gonna melt the butter. Now basically what we're gonna do here is we've turned on the heat to about 75%. And what the objective here is, we're gonna try to melt the butter, and then we're gonna put all of our apples and ingredients in the pan, and we're basically gonna fry the apples, and we're gonna kind of make them soft. So that way when you eat it, it's kind of like an applesauce, it kind of turns to, and we caramelize the apples. So it gives it a nice flavor, and that's my favorite way of doing it. Okay guys, so it's been about a minute or 2 minutes, and the butter has completely melted, and it is on a medium-high heat again. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our apples and all of our mixture of ground cinnamon, brown sugar, nutmeg, and regular sugar, and we're gonna pour it into the pan. Okay, and now what you're gonna do is, I like to turn up the heat a little bit more to full heat now once the butter is melted, and that'll kind of speed up the process, and you want to caramelize these apples, so you want to get the heat high enough so that you can kind of get the sugar up to temperature. So this usually takes about 3 to 5 minutes. So just everyone's stove is going to be different. So if I were you, I'll show you what you're looking for, but it usually takes about 5 minutes. Okay guys, so it's been about 10 minutes, and the apples are nice and soft, and you can see how the butter has really melted down, and it's starting to get a little thicker. And really what you're going to notice is, as you're stirring it, the apples themselves are going to feel softer. They're going to feel like lighter. And I'll show you one of the apples. Like, you can just squish them. If you just squish it, see, they're soft. Yeah. So you can squish them, and they're light. They feel light and fluffy instead of hard. So yeah, that's basically the best way to tell. So now once they're done, we're going to put them back in the bowl. And then we're going to go on to the next step. So put these into a bowl after they feel nice and fluffy, and then we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, so now we're going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 200 degrees Celsius, and we're going to set our timer for 10 minutes. So on the actual Pillsbury crusts, the back of the box, it doesn't tell you this, but in my oven, and I would think that your oven is going to be similar to mine, we have to blind bake. And what blind baking is the crust of the pie. Once you put all the filling in the pie, the crust of the pie doesn't bake enough because the filling is there's too much liquid, so it doesn't allow the bottom of the pie to bake enough. So what we want to do is we're going to roll out. So we took out the first roll, This package comes with 2 rolls. One is the top, one is the bottom of the pie crust. And we took it out for about 10 minutes to let it thaw. We're gonna put it on our pie plate. We like to use glass pie plates, but you can use any pie plate that you have. And so we're gonna roll it out, and we're gonna put it on the bottom of the pie plate. And like I said, our oven, you have to blind bake. Maybe you have a really strong oven and you don't need to, but I would suggest always just do it at least for 5 to 10 minutes just to give it a head start in cooking. We find that the bottom is always a little bit raw if you don't blind bake. So what our next step is we put parchment paper over the pie. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use these. They're made especially for pies. You can get them on Amazon. They're called pie weights, obviously. They're ceramic. You put them in and they just help you bake. They heat up and they bake it as well. And they keep it from puffing up. You can also use beans. So if you, instead of these white things, you can just use beans. Yeah, so we're gonna put these on, and then we're gonna put it in the oven for about 10 minutes just to give it a quick head start. Okay, so we're putting it in the oven for 10 minutes just to bake the bottom crust slightly. We'll show you when it's out. Okay guys, it's been 10-15 minutes. We did end up forgetting to tell you that we have to put foil paper on the top just so it stays all nice and crisp. And once you take it off, I'll show you here, and you notice how the pie crust looks translucent, kind of has that see-through look. Then you know it's done, so we're good to go. So we're gonna take off all these little balls and this paper, and then we're gonna fill the pie, and we're gonna finally bake. Okay, so now we're gonna just fill up the pie with the filling, and it's totally up to you how much filling you want. Some people like it filled completely over full, and some people like half. Okay, so now that it's filled to your liking, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the top sheet and we're gonna lay it on top. Okay, so then all you're gonna do is unroll the dough crust, the top, and you're gonna place it on top. Okay, and then the last step is just you're gonna crimp the sides, and you can do it any way you choose. We just literally bunch it up just to give it that rustic look. So we're gonna continue this, and we'll show you in a minute when we're done. Okay, and once your thing is all crimped up, all the crust is crimped, we like to add that homemade touch, plus it allows air to escape, and you add the 4 little dash marks, and there it is guys, there's the pie. So now all we gotta do is bake it in the oven for 400 degrees for 20 minutes, and we'll take it out and we'll show you how it looks. Okay guys, so the pie is finally out. I set aside some apples here for some look, and basically there it is. So the pie took about half an hour to cook, especially with that baking the crust prior to taking it out really helps bake the bottom. Yeah, so your oven may be a little bit different, so it could take from 25 minutes to 40 minutes, but you really just want to have this golden brown crust on the top. And there it is. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this amazing apple pie recipe. Let me know in the comments if you like it, and please subscribe for more. We're doing lots of tutorials, how-tos, unboxings with basically any topic. So a lot of fun. You guys are gonna learn and have fun too. If you have any requests, please comment below and I'll try to do those tutorials for you. Thank you guys. We'll see you soon.